Well, the miracle for Adrian Martinez and the New York Jets fell a little bit short, but that's all right. We'll recap the preseason finale, tell you the immediate winners, losers, everything else. And up next, the Jets kick off the regular season against the Pittsburgh Steelers Sunday, September 7th. We have the postgame show, recap, and analysis. Now, let's go.
I'm going to lose my gosh darn bananas. Boy Green Daily starts now. Zoinks!
Boy Green Daily, Boy Green Daily, Boy Green Daily. Let's go!
Put your seatbelts on. Get ready for the ride. We're the freaking New York Jets, so we're built for this shit.
What's going on, everybody? I'm Paul Lesnan Jr., a.k.a. Boy Green. I'm the New York Jets digital reporter for Heavy.com. Welcome to our post-game recap and analysis show. Seconds after the final whistle for the New York Jets, the Philadelphia Eagles. Jets lose 19-17. The miracle falls just short as Adrian Martinez tried to make a little magic happen. Unfortunately, it didn't happen. But hey, man, it's the preseason. Who gives a flying hoot? That's over, and we're going to be moving on to the regular season. But there's some individual players that stood out, storylines, all kinds of topics galore we're going to talk about here. And the phone lines will open up here in just a minute, but I got a special co-host for tonight's episode, baby. We're finally connecting the dots after a long time away, long overdue. It's time to bring in NY Jets Situation Report, a.k.a. Gunny Gumby, baby. What's up, brother?
Hey, what's up? How you doing, Paul Boy Green? My boy, it's been a while, man. It's been a while.
Yeah. Like I said before we started this, too damn long as far as I'm concerned. But nonetheless, I'm glad that we're finally able to connect the dots here right before the season, no less, as well, man. So this is awesome. So, interesting. There's a lot of different ways to go here. First off, I guess we'll start here. And the phone lines are now open. That is youtube.com/boygreen25. It's a pinned comment on YouTube. So if you guys would like to call into the show, feel free to do so immediately here. But Gunny, they immediately decide not to play Justin Fields tonight. And right. I wrote a quick piece about it. Not that it was surprising, but I wrote a quick piece about it. And there was a lot of flack from Jet fans saying, boy, they thought, these people that were responding in the comment section thought Justin Fields needed more work. So they did not like the decision. I ask you, Gunny, did you like the decision to not play Justin Fields and the majority of the starters? One starter did play. We'll get more into that later.
Yeah, I'm going to go with no. I think I stand with some of those Jets fans who felt like, the first team offense could have used a couple of snaps, right? A couple of drives. You know what I'm saying? One drive, at least a couple, to kind of go ahead and knock the taste out of their mouths from what we saw last week, right? Last week wasn't pretty at all. You're going up against the Steelers in week one, a formidable defense. Mike Tomlin's the head coach, you know what I'm saying? A formidable head coach. I feel like the way we saw things with those guys, how it left off in real game time situation last week, it was very ugly. Even if you bring them in just to kind of get a drive that's successful, to kind of get them going on a positive note, it would have made a lot of sense to me. Wasn't a fan of it. I was kind of surprised when you talk about how AG's been very prominent and determined to go ahead and get these guys live reps even during training camp. You're going live during training camp. You're hitting, you're tackling. I felt this was a missed opportunity to go ahead and at least try to get these guys going on a positive note. Maybe it would have been worse. Who knows? It would have been worse, but it looked like the Eagles played a lot of their second and third team guys. So maybe our first team guys taking a little advantage, you know what I'm saying? A little warm up, a little appetizer of sorts, go out on a positive note. And then you got the Steelers coming up here in 2 weeks. So I was definitely surprised by it. And I wanted to go ahead and see the first team get a couple of reps in this game.
Hey, when you look at the last preseason game that the Jet starters did playing against the Giants, the statistics were ugly. 1 for 5 from Justin Fields, 4 passing yards, 5 rushing yards. Now, on his second drive of the game, he did lead them to a scoring drive, which was a field goal, so that's nice, I suppose. But the overall numbers were not good, so I would understand, us as Jet fans and also the offense, you don't want that bad taste in your mouth being the last thing before we get to the Steelers game. So that totally makes sense. My overriding take, I was not angry about it or anything like that. My overriding take was I thought the Eagles are not going to play their starters, and they did not. So I thought it was a lose-lose scenario. It's almost like if you get in a fight with an old man. If I punch and knock out an old man, okay, way to go, Paul, you dick. You just knocked out an old guy. And if I lose to the old guy, I look like an idiot. Like, what a loser. You just lost to this old guy. So I bring it to the Jets, right? You play against Eagles backups, and Justin Fields, let's say he does one drive and they score a touchdown and look awesome. Well, everyone's going to be like, yeah, it was Eagles backups. Way to go. Do you want a cookie for smacking around the Eagles backups? And if Justin Fields struggles at all, people would have totally overreacted like, oh my God, you can't even do this against Eagles backup. You suck, buddy. So I felt like, sort of leading into the game, going back and forth about it because people were making cases each way. That's ultimately where I settled. I felt like it would have been a lose-lose for that, despite the fact that, again, in the Giants game, it didn't necessarily look pretty.
Yeah, I mean, that I see where you're coming from. I think my thought process was you get those guys out there. Yeah, you're right. If they struggled against the second team, it would raise a lot more questions, right?
Sure.
But if they go down the field and they score a touchdown on the first drive and it's against the second team, you at least feel better, especially like in the matter of which they do it. If he's throwing the ball, getting into the right spots, and they get down the field, you at least feel better about it. But it's just going from last week's game to playing the Steelers week 1, like that's that's going to be a tough ask, right? Again, they're bringing their defense is no joke. They got a great run defense. Their secondary's improved, and it's Mike freaking Tomlin coming in the building. So, I mean, yeah, I see where you're coming from, though. Either way, it could have gone negative in both ways. But just for their, it's like you talk about how sometimes you got to go ahead and get the varsity. When I used to play basketball,
yeah.
We're just against the JV, right? Before like game, you're practicing, it's practice, it's the JV, but we're going up, we're dunking on the JV guys, we're just having a good old time while we're hitting all our shots. You feel it sounds pathetic.
It's true.
You feel better going into the next game because you feel like you just couldn't miss, right? Yeah, and that it's a mentality thing. We know this game is about 60% mental, man, and then the other freaking 40% is the physical piece. And just getting them out of the mindset of like, man, we look like trash against the Giants freaking 3 weeks ago. I got to play the Steelers. That's where my thought process was at in terms of giving them a little bit of a toss up to get those guys' minds right.
That makes a lot of sense, and I love that you explained it that way. So, okay. I think what I'm going to do before the Steelers opener is I'm going to go down to the basketball park that's right down the house from me, and I hope there's a bunch of 5-year-olds there, and I'm going to just take them to school. I'm going to be talking trash. I'm going to be slam dunking them, wedgies and everything, and go, booyah! And I'm going to come back here and go, okay, get Steelers, let's go. So that'll rev my engine. I hope I can connect those dots and make that happen. We have 300 people in the room. Appreciate you guys. Like the video, hit subscribe. We're here with the legendary Gunny Gumby, baby. He's my post-game co-host tonight for Jets Eagles. So obviously we're also looking ahead to week 1. We'll also bring up a couple of players. So guys, feel free to super chat those in. Any players or storylines or anything you want to talk about. And yeah, that's one for sure. Let's bring up this from Cap 10 Condor. Yeah. Well, Zack Kuntz is cut. Oh, my. Adrian Martinez put it right on the button.
In his hands.
And Zack Kuntz, boop, drops it. And I think eventually, Gunny, we got to get away from, Zack Kuntz. The reason why everyone was so goo-goo gaga is at the NFL Combine, 100%. The RAS score and the spider chart, you're like, whoa, athleticism, height, this, that, and the other. And that's all pretty cool. But, Gunny, if you go to 100%, you go to a car shop and you see this beautiful Ferrari, you're like, oh, my God. It's spinning wheels. Look at this, the color, the stripes. And then all of a sudden, all right, let's take a quick peek under the hood. What the? There's nothing in here. Yeah, but look at the rest of the car, though. Yeah, but if there's nothing in here, this car's not going anywhere. So that's Zack Kuntz. Like, he looks the part. He has all these wonderful things. He can't catch the ball. And, Gunny, let me check my notes. Last time I checked, prerequisite for playing tight end is being able to catch a football.
Catch the ball. That's part of it.
Something he can't do. So Zack Kuntz, see ya?
Oh, yeah, he's gone. He's gone, man. Honestly, I think Zack Kuntz had a long shot at making this team anyway. The dude hasn't really lived up to the hype. We all really loved his size, loved his speed, loved his athleticism. It looked really beautiful on paper. You're right. That RAS score, the last regime had us believing that, like, man, you can work with that. Like, you can go ahead and teach him the other stuff. He's physically gifted beyond compare. But the dude can't catch it. He can't play football. Like all that freaking size and speed, he can't play football. So at the end of the day, he's gone. I think that today that's solidified it, right? That ball was right in your hands. You in essence dropped the game winner. when it was pretty much handed to you, dropped the game winner. So yeah, he's done, and I think good riddance, man. Like we need actual football players on this roster. Zack Kuntz does not fit the mantra of anything AG's been talking about that he's looking for on his roster, right? I don't think he's very tough. You know what I'm saying? Like he's not a good blocker, right? He obviously can't catch the football. Like what does he bring to the table? Like he brings nothing at all to the table.
Yeah, that seems pretty accurate, Gunny. You just walked it through there. I don't know what he brings to the table, so see ya. Now, here's an interesting one. What do you do with this guy? And I'm going to bring him up from Fox Sports Talk. Tyler Barron, who he says is a terrible pick. The last pick the Jets made in the 2025 NFL draft was they traded up and put all their chips in the middle of the table for the final pick. Their final pick, which ended up being late in the 5th round, is pass rusher named Tyler Barron, who spent the first couple of years of his career in Tennessee, transferred over to Miami, had 1 year, was just fine, and the Jets drafted him. And we're like, man, the Jets didn't add any defensive ends to the roster. They've got the main squeezes, right? Main characters, Jermaine Johnson, Will McDowell, but everyone else was sort of the same. Like Rashad Weaver, he's out for the season, so he just had an injury, and that was one of the biggest moves, quote unquote, not that big. That was one of the biggest moves they made in Tyler Barron. So I thought, man, by default, this guy just sort of has to make the roster because who else is there? But he's been invisible. Training camp, preseason games, all of it. So let me ask you this, because we don't know, we haven't seen this regime yet. Do you think they're just going to keep Tyler Barron because he was a draft pick, or because we've seen nothing, is he on the chopping block just like everybody else heading into cuts next week?
Yeah, I think it's a long shot of him actually making the 53 man. Now, is he a guy you can see in the practice squad? I think they'll slide him in for a practice squad slot, but there's just no way. He's brought, again, another person who's, like you said, invisible. You haven't heard his name. You haven't seen him. He doesn't get into the backfield. No pressures, no nothing. He's done literally nothing in the preseason. He's been very, very quiet in training camp. Again, you were excited about that because, again, he fits the type, right? He's got the size, the speed, and you're hoping you can go ahead and coach that up to play at this level, but sometimes you just don't have it, man. And so far, and I know he's a rookie, I know he's a late round rookie, and maybe this is harsh, right? Like give him some time to develop. But for right now, this isn't a guy who's earned his way onto this roster. And I think right now, with the way you're looking at wide receiver, maybe you want to hold a couple of individuals more so than you would have otherwise. Are you going to hold 3 quarterbacks with Tyrod Taylor potentially being, questionable for the injury? Like there's a lot of question marks in regards to the other pieces of our team that you don't really waste a very, very valuable slot on the 53-man roster for a guy like Tyler. I think he makes a practice squad. I don't think he makes the final 53.
Yeah, I agree. I think there will be a safety net of practice squad if somehow he doesn't get claimed, which I wouldn't imagine he would, because for those who don't know,
who knows?
Yeah, exactly. Right. So by Tuesday at 4:00. So folks, this is just to explain that this is coming up immediately. Tuesday by 4:00, every team in the National Football League must cut their rosters down to 53 players. And then 20 hours later is when the waiver wires are due. So every team in the league is going to comb through all the 1,000+ players who just got cut and see who's worthy of claiming. If you claim a player, you must immediately add them to your 53-man roster and cut another guy. With Tyler Barron showing nothing, I would doubt that. So what would happen is if he clears waivers, then Tyler Barron has a choice. If the Jets offer him a spot back on the practice squad, he could jump on the team. Or if, like some other team, I'm going to make this up, the 49ers say, hey, yeah, I don't know what's going on over there with the Jets. You could join our practice squad, and then he can have a decision and he can pick where he wants to go. But so we'll see. I think Barron would have an opportunity to at least return back to the practice squad. Now, this is a guy that was a lot of fun. Let's go to A Tribe Called Quest, sending this in on YouTube. Peyton Page, though, he did have a sack in the preseason finale tonight. Had a quarterback hit, a tackle for loss, undrafted free agent out of Clemson. He's shown a lot of chutzpah, but my fear here, Gunny, is that the Jets made 2 trades for defensive tackles this week. That 100%. Took 2 jobs that did not exist yesterday, which means Peyton Page is fighting with LT3 and some of these last couple. Mulba. Yep. Jay Tufele is in there. Derek Notty's in there, I guess. So there's only a couple of spots left. So as impressive as Page look, I think he's another practice squad guy at best, probably.
You love his story, right? You love how much, he came in and he had to lose the weight in order to go ahead and be able to play. And it was a ton of weight too. This is a guy who's not lazy.
Pounds.
He was 400 pounds. He lost 76, a lot
Mm-hmm.
of weight to go ahead and get to playing weight. So he's a worker. He's a hard worker. He's coachable. He's excited, right? You love his story. But I think those two trades kind of made him one of the odd men out, right? Like, and if you're asking me, I think Leonard Taylor is the one guy you definitely can't risk dropping to waivers because I think he'll get picked up right away. So I think because of that, Peyton Page might be on the outside looking in. Braden McGregor, is he somebody that they wind up keep, but he's going to be more of an edge guy. So I don't know if you want to keep him, but I don't think Derek Nanandi, they brought in Trufele themselves. So I think Trufele is one of their guys. So I think he's going to be here. You just traded for those two guys. Are you going to carry six defensive? Like, how are you going to carry six tackles? Like, how's that going to look? So I think it's going to be a long shot. And honestly, if you're telling me Peyton Page, Mubala, or Taylor is my guy. I really want to see Taylor make this team.
Me too.
That's who I would prefer. But I do like Page. I don't see a situation, though, with these new two additions that he makes the 53-man. And again, I think he's another guy that could potentially sneak onto the practice squad. But again, his story is kind of like it's moving, right? So people know him. And he put on a little bit of some nice stuff on tape tonight, too. So he's fresh in the minds of some GMs right now looking to go ahead and fill a hole on their defensive line.
Again, we've got Boy Green, we've got Gunny Gumby here. And while we're doing this live, again, the game just ended minutes ago from when we started this live show, which means Aaron Glenn is going to be speaking at the same time as we are. And actually, as a matter of fact, that's happening right now. We got some big news. Let's throw this up. Aaron Glenn on Tyrod Taylor. He is confident he'll be ready for week one. That's good news because there's been a lot of shady, sketchy comments about Tyrod Taylor, which made you go, is this guy not going to be ready for week one? And then after what we saw tonight, Gunny, way to cook, Adrian Martinez. I'm like, yikes. Justin Fields is one injury away from that. Those are the only other quarterbacks on the team. So great news, Jet fans. Just coming from Aaron Glenn via Rich Cimini, ESPN. Thank you very much. Saying he's confident he'll be ready for week one. Thank God, because based on the quarterback play I've seen tonight, to Gunny, I was getting a little nervous.
Yeah, no, same here, man. I was really hoping Adrian Martinez, I felt confident going into this that Adrian Martinez was going to be like QB3 on this roster, but tonight, man, against guys who are going to be selling car insurance and shoes, you know what I'm saying, next week, the dude looked very mid, to put it nicely. A few nice plays on the back end, you know what I'm saying, using his legs and whatnot, but nothing that would make us feel comfortable if something was to happen, knock on wood, to freaking Justin Fields. So to hear Tyrod Taylor is going to be back, because at first I was thinking the same thing. He was going to be on the short-term IR or something, just because the way they were talking about him. So this makes me feel happy that we know we'll have a legitimate quarter QB2 behind freaking behind Justin Fields. So good to know, because there's no other quarterback on this roster that I think you want to put into games that are going to count in the regular season.
Yeah, and here's the thing, we talk about stories that are moving, right? Peyton Page is moving, and I was really rooting for Adrian Martinez. Obviously, Brady Cook has people too, but Martinez, the UFL MVP, getting his shot with the Lions, it didn't work out, and then again the UFL thing, and then with the Jets last 2 years in their off seasons. But he was awful tonight, man. He had an awful interception. He should have had a second interception, but the Eagles player went to the concession stand, had some popcorn apparently before, and slipped right through the biscuits, and then a terrible strip sack. I mean, Martinez was freaking awful tonight. And again, there's almost a magical miracle at the end, which I guess would have given you a better taste in your mouth, but that wouldn't have made me forget the awful turnover. So Adrian just does not seem ready for the spotlight. So again, this is just thank God news, because people were talking about it, because this live show link has been up for a while, so people were allowed to drop comments before tonight, and people were bringing up the fact that should the Jets be exploring the quarterback options over the next couple of days to try to see, is there anyone else? I heard the shout outs for Tommy Cutlets earlier. We'll see what happens, but if Tyrod's ready to go, which it seems like he is, that's what I started to do. The same thing you said, Gunny. Oh boy, do we got to think about short-term IR here? Then what's the plan? How we move in pieces around here? But again, it does seem like, again, just coming in from Aaron Glenn, and I'll continue to bring you guys quotes as they come in that are of relevance here to the immediate post-game show. I'll bring those up, but it sounds like Tyrod will be ready for week one. Thank goodness. Hopefully, again, and I think I speak on behalf of everyone here, that Tyrod is not necessary. He's just holding the tablet with a firm grip. I don't even want to see Tyrod in week one. So it's good to know that he's available, but I'd rather not have to break that glass, especially week one. I think we've seen enough of injured quarterbacks and immediately go to a QB2 in week ones of Jets games and seasons past. So, no, thank you. Yeah.
Hard pass for us. Hard pass. Yes. We've had our fill.
Yeah, we certainly have. A couple other things here. I think a guy that made the roster tonight, I think he might have already probably made the roster, but tonight he just punched his ticket in. What about Jamal Pritchett, man?
Let's
The
go.
South Alabama wide receiver, undrafted free agent. He was a walk-on at South Alabama. Think about that. We're talking about stories tonight. Like Jamal Pritchett, here's where he finished up. He had 4 catches for 54 yards tonight. The 4 catches led the team. The 54 yards led the team, and he averaged 13 and a half yards per reception. He was targeted 7 times. And on top of what he did in the receiving game, which I thought was very nice, you saw a lot of yak ability, a lot of movement. He had 3 punt returns for 63 yards, 21 yards per average on his punt returns. Incredible.
Yeah.
With the long of tonight was a 41-yarder. Jamal Pritchett, hello. Xavier Gibson, goodbye.
Yeah. Gibson is literally, I think Xavier Gibson has rode the coattails of that week 1 win like 2 years ago. And we fell in love with them. Like we beat them. Like with Rodgers going down, you know what I'm saying? He brought it home. We beat the Bills and like he brought it home for us. I think he rode that success long enough. 2 years is long enough. He's done nothing since. He's brought nothing else to the table since then. We've been waiting for it to kind of click. Again, great personality, man. He's fun to see, like on Jets freaking content when he's out there. He's a fun guy, but again, a guy that hasn't really brought much to the table. But Jamal Pritchett, that dude, yeah, sign me up. Yeah, I said it. I tweeted it out freaking after the second catch when he broke people were all over the floor around him, broke so many angles. You know what? I've seen enough. Lock him in. That's the freaking special teams guy. That's wide receiver 5 or 6 or whatever he's going to wind up being.
Yeah.
But yeah, Jamal Pritchett definitely he made this roster.
Oh my God. And it feels good that it's not just, it is a cool story just on the story, but then you see the actual play. It was a human joystick out there giving getting Chris Berman's money. Whoop, whoop, whoop. I'm like, oh, hey, oh, whoa, where are we? So Jamal Pritchett, baby, a massive salute. And so I think Jamal Pritchett 100% made the roster. And then Xavier Gibson's the one that gets kicked off. Here's the tougher one. Quentin Skinner. What do you do about Quentin Skinner, man? Who's 6'5" size? Yeah, I hope so. Who was on the sideline tonight? Let me give you the final numbers on Quentin Skinner. He ended up having 3 catches for 40 yards, 13.3 per clip. And he had a couple other opportunities, but some of the quarterback plays throwing to him weren't as good. So it was sort of questionable. But Quentin Skinner, a big boy. He's a little bit lighter. He's taller, 6'5", but lighter. Is like a $185, maybe a $190 in terms of weight. But boy, he has just made a lot of plays in the preseason. So he's exciting. But I guess you're right. What is Allen Lazard? Is he a short-term IR guy? That would open up potentially a wide receiver spot. Or if they cut him or trade him or just straight up do something.
Yeah, I think with Allen Lazard, you look to trade him, right? I mean, I would rather go with the youth movement, a guy who's worked this hard to get on this roster, who's caught everything that's come his way. You saw him also create the freaking penalty in the end zone that allowed them to get another fresh set of downs to get the touchdown. The dude has made plays, it seems like, at least once a week where you're like, wow, we needed that. And he came in clutch. And he's a good route runner on top of that too. To be that big and to have that kind of a clean route tree is kind of surprising. You really usually don't see that very often. But I like Skinner. I think if you're telling me it's Lazard or Skinner, give me Skinner. I'd rather have him on the roster. So I think ultimately, if we don't trade Lazard, I don't think you're going to just cut him because how much he took a pay cut to still be here? Like it's like 12 or 15.
Yeah, took an $8.5 million pay cut to be here.
So it's 10 mil this year we're paying him. All right, but yeah, I don't know. I think at the end of the day, you go with the best player that's going to give you the best chance to win. Our wide receiver room is already lackluster. Lazard is lackluster. We already know this. Why not bring in a young guy who's shown you his flashes of potential that can potentially go ahead and get going as the season goes on? Yeah, I'm Team Skinner. You can cut Lazard for all I care, but I don't see Lazard being here after next year, right? But if you got a guy like Skinner who can develop into a legitimate wide receiver 4 or 3 for you, you got to vote for that all day. So yeah, I'm definitely Team Skinner on this one. That boy can play.
Yeah, and I love it. I love when the Jets can find these kinds of players, like wide receivers that sort of come out of nowhere. Now, I wanted to make sure I had the math correct for this next topic we're about to bring up. Oh, boy. And I think you probably already know what it is, Gunny, but I wanted to make sure all my numbers were correct because something, unfortunately, I had to add up here was the total penalties for the New York Jets during this preseason. So the New York Jets total penalties for this. So they had, let me, because you don't know, I just added up. How many penalties do you think they had across the 3 games?
The 3 games? Oh, you got
Yeah, all of them combined.
9. I think it was 9 today. So I'm going to go with 28 penalties.
Okay. All right.
For about
go ahead.
300 plus yards. No, that's crazy. 200 plus yards.
Okay. You nailed it. This is the general. So here it is. This is across the Jets.
Oh, wow.
3 preseason games. So you nailed it. You were very close. So 27 penalties for 234 yards across the entire Jets 3 preseason games. And here they were by game. So they had 10 tonight. They had 10 penalties for 78 yards against the Eagles. Last week, they had 7 penalties for 65 yards against the Giants. And then against the Packers, they had 10 penalties for 91 yards against the Green Bay Packers. Now, these are awful. There's just no other way to paint it. And I wanted to put it on the screen so people could see it. I think everyone will probably forget about this tomorrow, but I just think it's while we're in it tonight for an immediate post-game show. We got nearly 500 people in the room. Like the video, hit subscribe if you guys watching on YouTube. Appreciate you. I just think it's worth discussing because the Jets were the most penalized team in football last year.
Yep.
Aaron Glenn, for all the greatness about Aaron Glenn, I'm excited about it. I'll pick your brain, Gunny, because it's been a long time since we've been on a show together, so we got a lot of topics to cover, I'm sure. But Aaron Glenn with his Lions were one of the most penalized defense in football. Now, context, of course, he was playing with Joes and Schmoes who were bagging groceries the week before, so take that into context. But we go to these numbers again where AG's saying the right things at the podium, but these numbers are disgusting. Now, tonight, no one played that is a starter outside of one other starter. Again, we'll talk about that later. So how concerned are you with 27 penalties for 234 yards in the preseason for the New York Jets?
I think it's unacceptable. I think somebody posted it right there, Fox Sports Talk. Unacceptable. I think when you come in and you preach about the discipline aspect and you brought in referees so you can go ahead and work on this during training camp, it's something you're actively putting effort into, energy into, but you're not seeing the results on game days. So that's concerning. So if you're addressing it, he's holding people accountable. We've already seen that as well, but it's still happening. It's just unacceptable because these are going to be costly penalties when games matter. These are the kind of penalties that pretty stall drives. You saw that in the beginning of the game. That nice run had to come back because of the holding. You can't have those. So I don't know what you do. I don't know what he does because I know he's, like you said, he's saying all the right things. He did bring in the refs again to go ahead and be a part of training camp to make sure he's holding those guys accountable. We've seen him yoke up individuals who are causing penalties, in games. He gets in their face. But these guys are still making these mistakes. That's what do you do? So he's got to find a solution. He's got to find a solution. He's got to find it fast. The season's literally creeping up on us here in 2 weeks because this kind of penalty count over 3 games, you're going to lose at least 2 games because of this. I would say in a regular season, this would have cost you 2 games. In 3 games, this would cost you 2 games.
Yeah, people do the math. What does this mean? So they're averaging 9 penalties a game for 75 yards of penalty yards. That is an unacceptable, disgusting total. Now, again, hopefully this is just preseason stuff and they'll fix it. But there have just been so many things over the last couple of regimes here, Gunny, where things have been consistent in a bad way. We've had a lot of penalties with all of these different regimes. We've had slow starts in first quarters, and the offenses overall have just sucked booty cheeks. So those are 3 critical areas I would just like us to see us improve. Getting off the hotter starts immediately. So we're not just like throwing away the first quarter and the Jets are playing with 3 quarters and every other team we seem to play plays with 4 quarters and we lose all these games because they don't show up. They seem a lack of preparation. That would be a big one for me. And this goes to another one in terms of discipline, obviously with the penalties. So that's it as well. I would say that's a good question by Fox Sports Talk in terms of offensive philosophy here. And the Jets thrown a screen pass in the preseason. I don't think they did. And again, maybe they're saving stuff for the season, but we have been screened to death. The Giants did that 100 times against us and ate us up last week. And again, that's going to be part of it with this Jets being this man team and blitz team that leaves us vulnerable to screen game attacks. And that sort of was the previous regime, Gunny, because we had Saleh, who was this attack style defense, and you just had to trick the front to think that they were getting something they weren't. They took the cheese and whoop, right over top and got some of that action. So I don't think we've seen a lot of the screen game, as a matter of fact, offensively, but hopefully that's just a matter of fact that it's the preseason and they're not game planning. That's all we can hope for from there. But yeah, look at these disgusting penalties. I want to take it off the screen. It's just disgusting me. Good Lord. So let's throw that one aside if we can and pretend that we never have to look at that again, hopefully, here on the program. That's for sure. Another player that I think really impressed, and thankfully he came back in the game. He dealt with a couple of injuries. I love what I saw from Jarius Monroe. I don't know if there's a spot for him on this roster, Gunny, but he had near 2 pick sixes. He just had his timing off of running after it and getting the angle right, or he would have had 2 pick sixes to the house, and he was just sort of all over the place. They seemed to be playing him at both safety and corner, which was fascinating. Yeah. So I think that's the strongest positional group we have on the roster. I think it's not the safety room, the corner room specifically, I think is the strongest on the roster. Man, Jarius Monroe, a lot of splash plays tonight.
Yeah, Jarius Monroe and Malachi Moore definitely balled out tonight. I think both of those guys kind of gave me the warm and fuzzy about that safety room. And again, I get it. They were playing against freaking backups. I understand that, but they were where they were supposed to be on the defense. And that matters, right? Making the smart play, being in the way they were supposed to be to go ahead and attack and create turnovers. So that's not going to change during game days, right? Because these guys know the scheme, they know where they're supposed to be, they know where the ball is going, and they're drawn to it. So whether or not they can make those plays against first starters remains to be seen. But at least we saw they know where they need to be at on the field, and they seem to be drawn to the ball. So I love what I saw from both of those guys. I think you're right, man. I think the strongest position group we have on this roster is probably that cornerback room. Maybe the second. I really love our running back room too. So probably the second strongest position group would be the cornerback room. But yeah, man, Malachi Moore, Jarius Monroe, again, the safeties, we were having a lot of questions after Andre Sisco and Tony Adams. But I think those guys kind of showed up today, right? You didn't hear much from Isaiah Oliver. You haven't heard much from Dean Clark. So there's some question marks there. So it's reassuring to see these two young guys kind of come in and show you they can play the position of safety as well.
I've teased this a lot, so I might as well, we'll get to that later. We'll get to that later. All right, Jesus, we'll get to it already. There's one starter that the Jets had in this game, and that was Armand Membou, the 7th overall pick. He trotted out there with all the other backups and played in the game. We'll throw this up from Rich Cimini. A short night for Armand Membou. He ended up playing in 2 series. He ended up being replaced by Carter Warren. It was a little shaky. He had 2 penalties. But he's had a few issues throughout training camp and preseason. He got his lunch bag handed to him a couple of times by Kayvon Thibodeau, both in the joint practice I was at, and then also you saw it in the Giants game where there was an Olay move. Oh my God. Armand Membou was on skates and fell down to the canvas, and Kayvon Thibodeau was like, thank you, and got immediate pressure on the quarterback. I was like, Jesus, that was there. Again, what are expectations for an offensive lineman? It sometimes takes time for these guys, but let me ask you this, Gunny, because I think if people are optimistic about this season, and everyone that I've talked to that is optimistic for one reason and one reason alone, it's the offensive line play, and that can unlock everything else. So it appears that Armand Membou, and this is a first world problem, is the quote-unquote weakest point of this offensive line, but that's a good problem because he was the 7th overall pick. How concerned are you about Armand Membou heading into the season?
Well, first I want to go ahead and make note. He had 1 penalty today. They gave him that false start penalty, but the right guard actually was the one that moved jump first. Oh yeah. Like it was, you could see it too. So it's really 1 penalty. The rest kind of gave him one that he didn't deserve on that one. But I'm not worried about it, man. We knew when he came in that the pass protection was his weakness. We know when we brought him in, he's a mauler in run blocking. We know that was going to be a key component. And we know he's young. He's a young guy. He's easily coached. He wants to be coached. And we're betting a lot on our coaching staff, right? We're betting on this coaching staff to be able to go ahead and actually coach up their players, because AG's talked about how he's not just a defensive-minded coach. He's a coach, man. He coaches football players. So you're really hoping your coaches can get in there and really maximize his kid's potential. He's got elite size. He's strong as hell, right? We know he's a beast in the freaking run game. And you've seen him hold his own again. You've seen snaps of it, you know what I'm saying, against pass protection as well. The consistency is going to be key. But again, he's a rookie. He's a rookie playing one of the more difficult positions in football. Offensive linemen, a lot of people look at them and think like they're a bunch of brutes, but they have to know as much as the quarterback knows, right? Like where he's going to be, what play's coming, where the blitzes are coming from, where the pressure's coming. They have to know, be able to look at defense and be able to read defenses too. So offensive line is not easy. So he's going to have some growing pains. And he said it perfectly. He's going to be growing pains. But no, I'm not worried about Membou. I loved him because of what he can do as a run blocker. And he did that pretty good in the preseason and in training camp. As pass pro, he's developed quickly, and you see he's taking extra time after practice and after training camp to go ahead and talk to some of the defensive guys to go ahead and get some pointers. And of course, he's learning from the other offensive linemen as well. So no, he's got the right mentality. He's got the right size. I think he's going to be a stud for us for a long time to come.
On the Flight Plan podcast, Zach Rosenblatt and Tim McMaster were on, and Tim McMaster turned to Zach Rosenblatt. He asked him, which player on the Jets roster has the most on the line on Friday night in this game? And Zach sat for a second and said, oh, it's obvious. Malachi Corley. So I wanted to take a moment, Gunny, and highlight Malachi Corley's contributions tonight. I don't know if you were aware of these. Here we go. 0. Zero
across the board.
0, 0, 0, and 0. He was 0 in all the major categories. For receiving, we'll highlight his special teams in just a second. Oh my goodness. How in the biggest game of his respective life, he got targeted twice, no catches, no yards, no nothing. Now, again, he did contribute. They were factoring him into the return game. He was on kick returns. He had 2 kick returns, 51 yards, 25.5 per clip. So dandy, that's fine. He was not involved in the punt return. That was exclusively Jamal Pritchett. Is it time for us to pull out the violins as this Titanic ship goes down to the bottom of the Earth's surface?
Yeah, I think Malachi Corley, we've seen the last of him in a Jets uniform today, and it's sad. I think we all had a lot of hope for the kid. You know what I'm saying? Sure. The Yak King, when he came out of college, we were really hoping we'd be able to utilize him in a Debo Samuel style.
Debo Samuel 2.0.
Yeah,
those
2.0.
tweets were out there.
They were out there, and he has not lived up to the hype. And then from what you're hearing from some individuals coming out of that behind the scenes, this is a guy who really full of himself. He didn't want to go ahead and sell Devontae Adams the $120,000. He didn't want to play special teams, and these aren't the kind of things you want to hear from your rookie, right? That's trying to go ahead and work his way up in the NFL. That level of entitlement for a guy who you weren't a first rounder, you weren't a high round pick, like. Relax, my guy. You're coming in. You have to earn your way. Those are the kind of guys that, look at Elijah Moore. Elijah Moore was another guy, right, that we all loved, thought was going to be great for us. Great route runner, great hands, but he was too full of himself. He thought he was bigger than the game, and then that it was the Jets that were holding him back. He's now on his 3rd team since leaving the New York Jets. The guy hasn't stuck. He hasn't really performed. So I see this being Corley's are the next Elijah Moore. He'll bounce around because of the potential, but never achieve it, because the mentality matters, man. And if your mentality is you already think you're hot stuff when you haven't done anything in this league yet, then you've already lost, especially when you're not willing to do the little things. And sad to say, we've probably seen the last of Malachi Corley. He'll be off this team come Tuesday.
And to your point, I think it is true. I don't want to go surprised or not surprised, but I think the Jets are going to cut Malachi Corley. And again, we mentioned that window between Tuesday late afternoon and then Wednesday afternoon. Between that pocket, teams are going to be able to claim players. I would not be surprised if Malachi Corley gets claimed. He's obviously really talented.
Yeah.
And he has pissed every bridge here with the Jets, clearly. But somewhere else will be fresh. And they could just say, hey, he was on the Jets.
Yep.
Yeah, 100%. And they're like, we can fix this. And then they'll have a chance. And if they do, God bless for Malachi. It's obviously not going to happen here. He had the injuries in the spring. To hear that attitude just makes everything else go, oh, I see. Because when he scored the touchdown, me and Woody got into a big fight about this, is that when he scored the touchdown and everything happened, the Jets win the game. And I think that was the worst thing for Malachi because, oh, sweet, he got away with it. It's almost like you run a red light and nothing bad happens. You're like, oh, sweet, right. I can run red lights all the time. but you can't. Eventually, you're going to run a red light and a bad thing's going to happen. So, Malachi has a stupid mistake where he throws the ball behind carelessly, but the Jets win the game. So he's probably like, I don't give a shit. So when he was asked about it after, he showed zero remorse for the mistake. He took no accountability. It's like, whatever, I dropped the ball. Who cares? And at that moment, I gave him a lot of shit. Woody said, come on, man, don't roast. He's just a kid. And now we hear more of this other stuff behind the scenes. It sounds like that's the same sort of attitude he's had the entire time, which I'm like, I think the lesson he's going to have to learn is he expected to just be a starter, and now he's going to be the first guy cut from his draft class, the highest guy cut from his draft class before anyone else. Hopefully that humbles the young man. Hopefully that's I don't root ill will for the young man.
No,
I hope if he gets cut, which I would deem likely, that he lands on his feet, figures it out, and goes, oh shit, that was a wake up call. And hopefully he, the worst thing in the world is, you know what, Gunny, I don't know what you wanted to do with your life. I wanted to play football so bad, like at the NFL level. I played it in Pop Warner, middle school, high school, all that crap.
NBA.
I played it all the way.
That was my dream.
You see, and I wanted to do it. I wanted to do it. But the football gods are like, they looked at me, they looked at the mirror, they looked back at me and said, Paul, that's not going to happen. And I'm like, okay, well, all right, I'll talk about it.
Backup plan. Yep.
100%. But I would have loved to see players that obviously have the talent. It's oozing off of them. And for it to not work because of laziness or whatever else is the most frustrating thing for the people that are on the outside that don't have the talent and skills, but they have the want to, the desire. And if we could have just combined me and Malachi Corley, our short bodies, maybe something could have happened. But, here we are on the Malachi Corley story.
Yeah,
so
I think
we will see.
Fox Sports Talk says it beautifully right there. He just said that, he's going to join the more Mims and other receivers that never realize their potential, because with those guys, it was all mental. Those guys knew they had the physical gifts. They were blessed with those physical gifts, the size, the speed, the strength to play at this level. They had the talent, but mentally they were mental midgets. And because of that, they've never achieved anything thus far, right? I mean, it's still early because they're still young guys in the league, but they haven't achieved anything. I agree with Fox Sports Talk, man. I think when you said it beautifully, like when he did drop the TD pass, right, and then people were roasting him, I was mad, but then I was like, you know what? Now he learned from it. I bet you this is going to go ahead and get him going, because it was a nice catch. It was a nice move up the field to get into the end zone. But then I saw the press conference, and I was just like, oh, no, this kid's cooked. This kid's cooked. Because if he doesn't think that was wrong, it was a serious situation, you don't learn. Like you said, you don't learn from it. Like he was like, nah, I was fine. No big deal. We won the game. I knew then. I was like, man, dog, this dude might not reach his potential. I was so hopeful, but I kind of had a feeling then, like, I don't know if he's going to reach his potential. And then it's kind of rolled over into this season too. And then all that stuff coming out in regards to his thought process and mentality. I'm like, this kid is going to wind up wasting God-given ability and talent that he was given. He's going to waste it.
Seems that way. Because Gunny, a cool thing about us connecting the dots is we get to network with each other, and so you get to be introduced to different people. So we have someone asking in here, is Gunny a Marine? If so, Semper Fi.
Semper Fi, Dev.
Please.
Semper Fi, Dev. I appreciate you.
Okay. So, Gunny, can you confirm that?
Yes, I can confirm. 14 years in the Marine Corps. I got out in 2020. So about 5 years now I've been out of the Marine Corps. I got out as a gunnery sergeant, hence why it's Gunny. Wife didn't want to move to California when they were giving me orders to Cali. I got kids, and after 14 years of service and then following me around, I decided, you know what? Time to walk away and give them what they wanted. We wanted to stay here in Texas. So yeah. But yeah.
There you go.
Yes, I am a Marine.
Well, of course, Gunny, thank you so much for your service to this country, and appreciate you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
All right, let's go to the phone lines. The phone lines are up. We got 500 people in the room. Like the video, hit subscribe. If you'd like to call into the show, feel free to do so. That is youtube.com/BoydGreen25. We are streaming live on Facebook and Twitter as well. If you guys are enjoying us there, that's fine. I appreciate you no matter where you watch us. But if you want to call in, it'll be on YouTube. Let's go to Max here. He's got a full podcast studio joining us. What's up,
What's
Max?
up, guys? How you guys doing?
Yeah,
hey,
great.
What's up, Max?
Yeah, what's up?
So, some takeaways from the game. So, I feel like, the penalties are a big problem. We had 10 penalties, but I feel like some of them were ticky-tacky, In my opinion, Membou had 2 penalties, but one of them was on the guard. And then Jarius Monroe had a really ticky-tacky penalty with the wide receiver. They called pass interference. It was not. The Eagles receiver ran into him. It was like it was no pass interference. There was no holding call. The Eagles receiver ran into him. And then Malachi Corley's not making the team. I saw your thing, and I was really mad about Corley. I was actually mad about the selection. I really never liked the Malachi Corley pick. I actually never liked the pick. I wanted the Jets to get Brendan. There's actually a story. So I was in the draft. I wanted the Jets to get Brendan Rice because I feel like he had potential.
Jerry's son, right?
Jerry's son, yeah.
Yeah.
I wanted the Jets to get Brendan Rice in the draft, because I feel like he had more potential than Malachi Corley. Granted, I never watched his highlights in college. We got Corley, and I was so pissed off. Every Jets fan disagreed. Oh, Corley's a good pick. Oh my God, he was so good. I'm like, bro, I was so pissed off. I was like, we'll give it time. He had the touchdown against Houston, dropped it. It was bad, and then he is not making a team. Like I thought, I was trying to defend Corley. I thought he was going to be like a punt returner beat, but the comments saying he doesn't want to play special teams. I'm like, he is not making a team. And the route with Cook, Cook had a really bad interception. To be fair, Corley ran a horrible route. And I was like, the Jets made a mistake, and I was probably, and I was in the draft. A lot of Jets fans were trashed me on social media. Matt Leary trashed me. Thought I was crazy saying Corley was a bad pick, but I think now I realized, I think Corley was not the right pick for us. I realized it in the draft. I actually realized in the draft I didn't think he'd be that good of a player, and I just. I wanted Brendan Rice, but he was a 7th-round receiver. He fell to the Chargers in the 7th round. So, but talking about the preseason game, some players that stood out to me. So Aaron Smith played really good, and then Quentin Skinner has to make the team as well as Pritchard. Pritchard had a really good return on special teams, and Banjo is happy for him. So
yes,
Pritchard, and then Skinner has to make the team.
Okay, I like the Skinner take. Here, one thing I just want to jump in to say, right? So you say Brady Cook throws that interception. Something I realized in the middle of the game. They say the name, and I'm like, what? What? Who? What? Perry Nickerson? I'm like, what the hell? That dude's still alive? He's in the NFL? And former Jet Perry Nickerson. Let me tell you what I didn't have on my bingo card going to this Jets-Eagles game is a Jets quarterback throwing an interception to ex-Jet Perry Nickerson. Unbelievable. So yeah, that was a great diving play by him on the Brady Cook pick. But to your point, some of the route running on some of the things, little questionable. I like the Quentin Skinner take too. He's a good kid. I got to do an interview with him during the break between mandatory minicamp and training camp. He seems like a really good kid. So I'm rooting like hell for him.
I think Skinner's making the team over Malachi Corley.
Okay.
Skinner, I feel like showed more potential in this preseason than Corley because Skinner had a really good touchdown, and then Edwards also had a good touchdown. I think Donovan Edwards can be on the practice squad. And then for defense, a player that stood out to me was Zarius Monroe. He really had good coverage with the Eagles receivers. I didn't agree with the pass interference call. That was not pass interference at all. And then But still, I think we need to address the penalties issue because 10 penalties in a game. We are not going to win games in this league with the amount of penalties we had tonight. No.
Yeah. Those penalties will not be good enough for us to go through. I'll give a shout out to Braden McGregor. He's another guy who had a great sack in the game, got around the Eagles left tackle. It's great to see because he did bupkis last year. He was on the roster all year long, didn't have a single sack. And in this preseason game, it's preseason, so take that for what you will. I'm waiting for these UDFAs. Are you guys going to step up or step out? Because that's what's going to happen here. It's Eric Watts, it's Braden McGregor, and me and Gunny, our boy, LT3, who showed a little bit of pop last year. I hope he makes his team. Now that these two new guys, Jawan Briggs and Harrison Phillips, they're obviously both making the roster. Those are spots that could have went to LT3. So I think there might be 1 or 2 defensive tackle spots left, maybe 1, and I hope it's LT3. I hope he's the guy. All right, Max. Appreciate the call, man. Thank you so much. And the full podcast studio, very nice on the call. So appreciate it very much. So feel free to do that. And I love all the love here for Gunny. This is awesome. Gunny is the GOAT. Miss you on the Thursday thick of it action with Green Bean, of course. So all the love. So let's go there. Let's take a quick detour from all this crazy preseason finale action. Gunny, tell us what the hell's going on the channel. What's your content schedule? Are you working with any other content creators on a regular basis? What's cooking?
Yeah, well, first and foremost, appreciate you guys for all the love as a Marine from Sports Spots Talk with the God Bless Our Vets. I tried to leave a comment. For some reason, it didn't come through. Michael, appreciate you as well. Appreciate you guys for all the love. In regards to the channel, I'm back on Tuesday nights at the Hangout. Took a little bit of a hiatus for the summer, with the 4 kids and the wife, had some trips planned. And so we wanted to go ahead and definitely I didn't want to go ahead and give, half-ass content. So I was like, you know what? I'm just go ahead and step away. go to take care of the family, but now we're back. Football is back. So every Tuesday night, 8 p.m. Central, the Hangout is back.
Love it.
Green Bean has a lot going on right now. So the Thursday Thick of It right now is now on pause for the time being. Not sure if he's going to bring it back later on or not, but I know he's got a lot going on right now. So he had to go ahead and put a pause on that. But if you want to go ahead and come hang out with me on Tuesday nights, 8 p.m. Central, Hangout, come onto the channel. We do about an hour podcast and we just talk Jets. And then I also put out prediction videos throughout the week as well. So you'll be seeing that popping up here as the season kicks off.
Gunny, what's the linkage? What's a YouTube channel? Reiterate that for everyone who's here on the chat right now.
You can see me in the New York Jets situation report. When you start typing New York Jets situation, it pops right up. So that's kind of cool that it pops up right away. But yeah, you'll find me there. Go ahead and subscribe. We're right now trying to get the 2,000 subscribers, sitting at around 1,700. I'm going to be giving away a autographed Joe Namath jersey to one lucky winner of the first 2,000 subs. So if you haven't subscribed yet, get on YouTube, subscribe to the channel, and then you automatically are entered to win the Joe Namath jersey when we hit 2,000 subscribers.
Wow. I was just going to say that, for me, I was just like, hey, everybody, why don't you just subscribe? Because he's a great guy. And he's like, hey, you know what? I am, but Joe Namath jersey. Holy cannoli. Good Lord. And thank you, Fox Sports Talk. He said he just subscribed to the channel.
Appreciate you, Fox Sports. Thank you very much. Appreciate the support.
When I go throughout a season that we're about to go on, one of my favorite parts is networking. Now, normally it's with opponents more so than our own people because we know our own people. So like it's Steelers people I've never talked to before, but we're, like working with other content creators and stuff. But I will tell you, and okay, so Matt's about to go subscribe right now. Great, guys.
Keep you, Matt. Thank you so much.
We have over 500 people in the room. Please, if you like anything that we're doing here, yes, the thing that would warm my heart is if you could go subscribe right now to NY Jet Situation Report on YouTube and support my guy here, Gunny Gumby. He's the best. And like I said, I love networking. Like I said, normally on a week-to-week basis, it's with the opponents. But to be honest, it's with all my fellow Jets content creators that we get to network. And again, Gunny is in front of people right now, apparently, that were not subscribed to his channel, which is awesome. We have 500 people in the room. So again, no matter where you're watching, make sure you hop on over there. It's awesome. And it's just really cool, man. So it's great that we're able to connect the dots. Okay, give me the truth here. All right, Gunny, because hey, honor here. Just me and you here. No one else is watching. Forget the 500 thing I just said here. No one's here.
I got you. Just us.
Okay. How much crap were you talking to your wife for Jets Packers when we smacked them around in preseason week 1? What was going on there?
I talked so much crap. You know what she said?
Excellent. Yeah.
It's preseason.
Here's the thing. This is what I say when the Jets we're heading into the preseason and someone goes, hey, Paul, what's up with what's your take? I'm like, if we win, we're going to the Super Bowl. If we lose, who gives a shit? It's a preseason. Yeah. So that's the take. Yep, so you know what? I should have known. Your wife is a very smart woman. That's immediately where she pivoted.
She's like this. Congratulations. It's preseason. I was like, maybe I can't enjoy this. I can't just rubbish.
I know. No. Come on now.
Wow. Got my kids even saying the same thing. They're like, we're used to winning when it counts, Dad, so it's fine. You can enjoy the preseason. I'm like, okay. All right. Okay. Yeah. Wow. My kids are quick with it, man. They're definitely their mother's children.
Yeah. There's no doubt about that. So that is unfreaking believable. But I'm glad that you talked your talk. So I did. Yes. I like that. Very nice. Yeah. Okay, beautiful. That's great. And it says Home says Gunny married a smart woman. That's
sure did, man. Yeah, I definitely married up.
yeah. Which, hey, man, that's all of our goals in life. Outkick our coverage. And if we did that, God bless.
Exactly.
That's the kind of special teams effort I've been trying to put in all my life. Way better than whatever I put in on the gridiron. That is for damn sure happening here on the channel. All right, everybody, keep your comments flowing. Again, super chats and everything else are all available. Also send in your questions, comments, phone calls, everything else in between. Let's do this, Gunny. Which receiver could you see the Jets picking up? Because, again, there was those rumors last week from Diana Rossini, NFL insider from The Athletic, that the Jets were making trade calls. Now, apparently, they were making trade calls for fatties, not receivers, with all the defensive tackles they acquired, but still nothing on the receiver front yet. Is there any names you've sort of circled here, or what's sort of your thoughts on the Jets kicking the tires on some wide receiver action?
Yeah, listen, I'm gonna give a shout out straight to Dom C for this already. Dom C kind of broke this down, and then also the Buffalo Jets fan, right? So I was not expecting us to go ahead and make a move like this, but Alec Pierce has skyrocketed to the top of my freaking list in terms of potential wide receiver 2 options. That's not going to cost us an arm and a leg. Not to mention he's young enough for us to go ahead and give a decent contract to, because he's not a number 1, you know what I'm saying, but a decent contract to that can go ahead and keep him on this team for quite some time. So Alec Pierce right now is on my wish list. I hope he winds up being the guy. And apparently there was a tweet that came out earlier today that stated yet again, like, yes, the Jets are in conversations monitoring the Alec Pierce situation. So there's interest there. So I hope they find a way to close that deal. I know some individuals are going to say, like, why bother doing it? We're not going to throw the ball that much. And the thing is this, right? When you have a legitimate threat at number 2, you open up the running game. People, for some reason, we're not seeing the correlation here, but you open up the running game. AG said something the other day that made so much sense in terms of the Super Bowl champions had the 29th or the 27th ranked passing attack, but the number 1 ranked rushing attack. They have 2 number 1 wide receivers over there in Devontae Smith and freaking AJ. Yeah. The reason why the run game is so effective is because the defense has to respect the receivers. So I think if you bring in somebody else along opposite of Garrett Wilson that defenses have to respect, you're opening up the run game for our guys, and that goes a long way. So, yes, I think bringing in Alec Pierce would do wonders for the passing game and the running game. It wouldn't just be a one-way thing. So I'm hoping we made that happen. Like, he's jumped to the top of my list, so I'm really hoping that somehow, some way we go that route.
Hey, another former Sauce Gardner teammate trade could be happening here. We had it with Juwan Briggs, another Cincinnati guy from 2021, and that'd be great with Alec Pierce, another Cincinnati guy as well. So I'd be all about it. That'd be wonderful to bring another receiver in. What I'd be curious about is Alec Pierce is heading into the final year of his rookie contract. So what do you do if you're AG and Darren Muji? Because there's a case to be made both ways. Let him play it out. He's as motivated as ever to be that guy, and then you guys figure it out next year. Or if there's a way to you sort of agree to terms with the Colts and say, hey, can you give us 10 minutes? We'd like to talk to Alec real quick. Sure. Okay. Hey, Alec, we'd love to work out a deal. Like, let's talk some contract things. What are you looking at? And if he's too crazy, you're like, all right, we're not going to go that far. Let's play it out and see what happens. But if it's a reasonable thing that you think he can hammer out, because, again, he's not looking, I would imagine, for number 1 wide receiver money, maybe there's a soft part in the middle that you could sort of figure out and like, cool, now we got a guy here next to Garrett that could be his 2 or 3 for the next couple of years. I wouldn't hate that. I wouldn't hate that at all.
Think about it. You'd have him, Garrett, and then Arian Smith, right? Arian Smith right now has definitely shined in camp and in preseason. Sure. So I don't know if he's ready yet to step into that role of a number 2. Can he be the 3, the 4th guy right now and then work his way up? Like that's 3 guys you can work with for the next several years. And then maybe down the road, you go ahead and draft another guy. If those 2, if they start to really separate themselves in terms of what they're going to be, or you find a guy like most teams do, they find a guy who shows up, like maybe Skinner's the guy that shows up and he winds up being the stud for us. So yeah, I think Alec Pierce is 26, 25 years old.
Let me pull that up on it.
Yeah. You give the kid a 3-year extension.
25.
You give him a 3-4 year extension. You got him for the bulk of his prime. He's a speed guy who's going to help you in contested catches. Something ridiculous where he had like 800 something yards on 30 something catches or something. Was it 60 something catches maybe? Like the dude is a weapon, and defenses are going to have to respect them. So yeah, I think you bring the kid in, man. And I know Fields isn't going to be throwing the ball a lot this year, but I think you have those scary weapons that can make defenses be honest, and your running game can go off. Remember, the Super Bowl champions had the 27th ranked passing attack last year. Yeah, that's saying a lot.
That is very much saying a lot, and I would say
that's saying a lot.
Here's the stuff for Alec Pierce. Like, come on, man. Look at these numbers. So this past year, 37 catches for 824 yards. Jesus.
That's gross. I don't even know how.
It's a Madden video game. Like, you only threw deep bombs to your receiver over and over again. To have 22.3 yards per catch, which, by the way, I believe led the National Football League this past season, including a 65-yarder to the house, 7 touchdowns, like explosiveness, big plays. The contested catch situations. There just seems to be a lot of numbers in favor where you're like, I like the cut of this jib. And the Colts are sort of in an interesting flux position because, everyone always says, like, Paul, why would you trade for anyone? If the other team wants to get rid of him, then they must not be very good. And I'm like, no, there's all kinds of situations. Like Harrison Phillips. The Vikings had a lot of depth. They were trying to save some money. They apparently have wide receiver issues. So I heard this from Tom Pelissero on the Rich Eisen show this week. He said part of the money-saving thing with the Jets was so they could use that immediately to go get a wide receiver. So even though they liked Harrison, that was part of the thought process. So always think about that, guys, that it's a layered process. There's a lot that goes on. And to be able to get a guy like Pierce, again, I get it. Sex appeal name-wise, I don't know if a lot of people know who Alec Pierce is. They may be seeing these numbers and go, whoa, I've never seen those numbers before. Yeah. And, well, hello, how you doing? This is Alec Pierce. Nice to meet you. And I think he'd be a nice little part there because everyone's talking about the sexy names of Terry McLaurin, Chris Olave, and some of these other names. Yeah. It just seems unlikely they're going to be swimming in those waters, But Alec Pierce, look at these numbers. Those are totally fine for what we're looking for. We're not looking for another Garrett Wilson. We're looking for a Robin to the Batman. I'm not looking for Batman to Batman. We tried that last year with Devontae, and that did not go very well. Let's try to find the right Robin, the right sidekick to Garrett to do enough to draw attention away. And I think you nailed it, Gunny. So many people say, just if you just throw the ball up, why do you need another wide receiver too? It's to draw attention away from the running game. Because if I'm a defense, like if I'm week one, I'm the Steelers defense, here's what I'm doing. Hey, Garrett Wilson, you're double teamed. And then I'm putting 30 other guys in the box. And then what are you going to do, Justin Fields? Figure it out. That's what I'm doing. And if he beats me in another way, God bless. But that's like my game plan. Every play I'm doubling Garrett, not letting him beat me. And then the other 9 guys are in the box. And here we go. And the Jets are going to have to prove, the Steelers are not going to be the only team that I imagine does that. They're going to have to prove that they can beat that defense. And with Josh Reynolds and Tyler Johnson and even Jamal Pritchard, our boy out there, I don't know if that's exactly, drawing and striking fear into opposing defenses. I just don't think that's happening here, Gunny.
Yeah, and another cool thing about Alec Pierce is, like you said perfectly, right? Batman to the Robin. Obviously, this is a guy who can do a lot with little, right? Sure. He doesn't need a lot of targets going his way, and he's maximizing his opportunities. So for me, he'd be the perfect complement. I don't think he would cost an arm and a leg to restructure that contract. I think he knows what he is as well. And again, let's not forget the Colts they just drafted what's his name?
Tyler Warren.
They got Tyler Warren. They got A.D. Mitchell. Right. So they've got some youth there, and they're trying to figure out the quarterback situation because now it's Danny Dimes. Anthony, they're not in a position right now to go ahead and they're not a wide receiver away. And this is the last year of his contract. Right. So I think that's why you wind up offsetting a guy like that, because maybe you get the assets back to start that rebuild process. But for sure. McLaurin and Olave, like those guys are going to be, they want wide receiver 1 money. They're going to be going toe to toe with freaking, Garrett. I'm not a fan. McLaurin also was like up there in age too. Almost 30 years old, if I'm not mistaken.
He's 29. He turns 30 in like 3 weeks or something. Yeah.
I'm good. I don't want a 30-year-old wide receiver. You got to pay wide receiver 1 money. And Chris Olave, his concussion, he's not concussion protocol right now, if I'm not mistaken. Because I think in training camp he got hurt in training camp.
Well, he definitely had the one where he missed, like, basically he played like 4 or 5 games last year, and the rest of it he was just stuck in concussion protocol. Very scary hit last year. And again, I mean this in all seriousness. He is maybe 1 concussion away from his career being over. So
being done. Yeah,
it is. He's talented, no doubt. Like 2 of his first 3 years, I mean, the numbers are insane, and he's an Ohio State guy, and all that stuff makes sense. But that would just be a very, very risky move. And I love this from Cole Young. He's like, "Whoa, I had no idea that Alec Pierce's numbers were that good. Education, baby. Welcome to class. We're your professors. Okay, we're dropping some knowledge. So make sure your ears are open and you're receptive to the information that's coming through this boob tube over here. All right, people. We're trying to tell you stuff. We're trying to keep you guys informed on what the hell is going on out here, and you're gosh darn welcome, for God's sake. So keep the comments and questions coming. We'll be on here for a few more minutes here as we're wrapping up our post-game coverage here. I see Greg Arnold says, Paul, what would I give up in a trade for the Saints 2026 first rounder? I'm not sure I understand the trade here of trading for their first rounder. I don't know. Their first round is probably going to be the first overall pick, and they're going for old Arch Manning. That's probably what they're going to be doing. So I don't think they're going to be moving that. But I would say in the vein, because Greg, feel free to clarify. I'm not sure I understand the question, but I would just say in a follow-up sense, I think, okay, let's start here. Well, let me ask you, Gunny. How confident are you in Justin Fields heading into 2025?
Oh man. Okay. So listen, Justin Fields
Okay.
was my quarterback of choice in that draft class. He was. I thought
Okay.
he was
All right.
definitely ahead of Zach Wilson.
All right.
I actually liked him more than freaking Trevor Lawrence. I liked he
Oh,
brought an
okay.
elite trait to the table with his legs. It was elite. Like we knew then it was an
Mhm.
elite trait to the table. And in college, he can make all the passes. So it looked good. I know his release is a little bit slow. We were hoping he can
Mhm.
go ahead and speed that up a little bit at the next level. But in college, you thought to yourself, man, this kid, he's a quarterback. I
Mhm.
wanted him. We didn't get him with Zach Wilson. So if you watch Justin Fields' career, which I followed it because again, I was a big fan. The
Sure,
kid has gotten better every single year he's been in the league, passing
Mhm.
wise. Like if you look at his stats, pass wise, every single season he's improved. He really has. Last year, massive step forward, right?
Yep. Mhm.
And then after he goes 4-2, he had a 10-1 TD to interception ratio,
Mhm.
65% completion rate, like all of these wonderful numbers. He gets benched for Russell Wilson. They went with a veteran guy, but he got to sit for the first time in his career and just watch what quarterback is supposed to look like. Russell Wilson is a Super Bowl winning quarterback. People keep forgetting that the guy was a stud in his heyday. You know what I'm saying? He
Yep.
could still play football. So he got to sit back and watch what that looks like, right? And learn how to play quarterback, watching one of the best or one of the better quarterbacks in the NFL to do it under the tutelage of freaking Mike Tomlin, one of the better coaches in the NFL.
Sure.
This is the year where Justin Fields either has put it together or he doesn't. Because I think
Mhm.
this year he has more support than he's ever had. He didn't have a lot of support in Chicago. I think last year, not a lot of support, obviously, because he wound up getting benched. But you have the offensive line. They're tailoring the offense around your ability to run the ball. You've got running backs who are going to help you with running the ball. You got your boy Garrett Wilson on the team that you played in college with. Like, I think there's been a lot of support, and you're hearing all the good stuff from AG about the support that he has for his quarterback.
Mhm.
With that said, I don't know if his processing speed is going to be fast enough for the NFL. I just don't. I've watched it in the preseason games, and I love the first drive, of course, against the Packers.
Yep.
Last week was concerning. You watch some
Mhm.
of the training camp. He's been up and down. It's been erratic, to say the least. I don't know if you want to put all your eggs in the – like, this is why I don't want to go ahead and trade a first or a second round for anything, wide receiver, nothing. I want to keep those assets because I think we're going to need them potentially to move up and go get a quarterback next year or the following year. Justin Fields is either going to get it this year or he's not. And honestly, if you told me today I had to pick, I'm going to bet against, only because of what I've seen in training camp. And I know it's only training camp and it's
Sure.
only preseason, but he's doing a lot of the stuff that we've seen him do over the last 3 years in the league. So it's not like he's doing new. It's the same stuff he's been doing that's got you kind of concerned in regards to how he's going to wind up playing this year. So if I had to pick today, man, I think we're going to be drafting the quarterback next year. Would I like to be wrong? I would love to be wrong. I would love for this to be the Geno Smith story, right? Where he's all coming together and he's balling out. I would really love to see Fields become that guy. I think he's very talented. I think his ceiling is high. I don't know if he ever achieves it because I think his processing is a little bit slow. And I don't know how you speed that up. I don't know if you can speed that up because you've been in the league now for this is year 4. It should have slowed down for you by now. If it hasn't slowed down for you by now, it's probably never going to slow down for you. So that's my.
As a matter of fact, I believe this is year 5 for Justin Fields now. Like this is going to be his 5th. Yeah, I believe so. Right, because he came in 2021. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, so he's going to be
5. You're right.
Which only speaks greater to your point that
exactly
like, he's that much deeper, right? But see, Gunny, this is why you're a professional. It's like you do this for a living, for God's sakes, because that's exactly it. Again, I didn't understand the initial question on the screen, but the question was sort of, it led me to a different place, and it's this.
Mm-hmm.
I believe in Justin Fields. I think he's going to be the guy, and I'm all in. I have got a Justin Fields jersey sitting in the closet. I'm ready for week 1. I can't wait to slap that on, blow the dust off, and be ready to roll. However, I like the fact that we have the break the glass emergency, and that is those rich draft choices you just pointed to. Yep. And if it doesn't work out, like I'm all in. Let's aggressively try to make everything happen here in 2025. However, if we go through the season and it goes sideways, in the back of my mind, eventually I'm going to be like, well, all right, let's evaluate the quarterbacks that are going to be available here in the 2025 NFL draft. So when I see comments from Greg. I think Greg is the one that came in here. By the way, Spherian just subscribed, so we're
appreciate you.
We got
Thank
a
you very much.
wave happening here, an
I like that.
absolute wave. I love it here late night on a Friday night, heading into a Saturday. I love it. That's terrific. Let me say, here it is from Greg. Would I trade Sauce Gardner and Garrett Wilson for a chance to draft Arch Manning? Absolutely not. No. These are two pillars of the organization, and Arch Manning's thrown like 7 passes in college. So,
and I love Arch Manning.
Yeah,
I hope somehow, some way he winds up being a Jet. But you don't trade the proven commodities away for a maybe, right? Like, we know Sauce Gardner and Garrett Wilson are dogs in the league. Like, Sauce
100%.
Gardner is arguably the number 1 cornerback in the NFL, and I believe Garrett Wilson is a top 5 guy. Once we all put it all together, he's been in that top 10 to 15 range with horrendous quarterback play.
Yes.
I think he's a top 5 guy in this league once we actually have someone to throw him the ball consistently in the right way. So no, hell no. These two guys are pillars. They're young, they're in their prime, and they want to be part of the solution. These are guys who are studs who chose to stay within the chaotic organization that is the New York Jets, going through this rebuild or whatever you want to call it. And they want to be a part of the solution. Nah, man, you can't get rid of that. Like, these guys are pillars. They're foundation pieces to what we're trying to achieve here.
Untouchable. Untouchable. And that's not a phrase to say, oh, okay, we'll increase our offer. No, just shove your offer. No, that it's not a ploy. It's not a tactic. They are absolutely untouchable. If you call about them, I am hanging up on you so fast it's not even funny. And I might laugh and then hang up the phone aggressively and slam it a few times. Hell to the no, hell to the nah. There is no way in this blue hell that I'm giving up Sauce or Garrett, for that matter, for a chance to draft Arch Manning, or any quarterback for that matter. Lenore Sellers, Cade Klubniks, any of these guys, hell no, absolutely not. And we'll see what happens. Again, that is the potential fear of a Justin Fields, is because, so if Justin Fields is awesome, we're all happy we found our franchise quarterback.
100%.
If Justin Fields is terrible, that would be wildly disappointing to miss the playoffs for the 15th year in a row. But if that happens in the horrific fashion, then okay, we should have a top pick for a potential quarterback. The worst place to be, and I used to yell about this on my radio show all the time, is purgatory. That's the worst place to be. 8 and 9, which are the new, I have to get used to that. 7 and 10, where the Jets win like 6 or 7 games. Let's even increase it to like 8 games, and you don't make the playoffs, and then you're picking like 15th. Who in their right mind? Because, like, if we go to the top of the draft, everyone needs a quarterback. And if you don't need a quarterback, then you're trading it to stay within a certain range. Like, we would have to chop off every, body part and organ to move up from, like, let's say 15 to 1 or 2 or 3 to select one of these top quarterbacks. And that's not even a guarantee that it works out. So, like, that's the part that would be incredibly nerve-wracking from that perspective, is that Justin Fields plays good enough to sort of keep you in the conversation, but not good enough to win a championship, and not bad enough where you're terrible. So that's the fine line that is to balance here for the New York Jets, obviously, coming up with what we got going on. So, that's part of it. And I appreciate the subscriptions continuing to flow in here for Gunny. That's awesome. So please, again, NY Jets situation report. Let's make sure you guys hit that subscribe button, please. Again, he's giving away a Joe Namath jersey, baby, which is great. And I was going to wait to announce this in 3 minutes, but hey, I might as well, in the middle of this postgame show with 600 people here, in what would that be? 150 seconds is my 11-year anniversary with my beautiful woman, my queen of everything that I do. So she's in here watching on YouTube, because why wouldn't she be at 11:57 on August 22nd, tuning into a Jets postgame show on a preseason finale? Obviously, that shows dedication, the real MVP. Happy 11 years, babe. I'm so proud of the man you're becoming. Me and the kids are the luckiest. Here's to forever. And I love my children, love my family. And yes, so special 11 years. Good Lord.
Congratulations, Boy Green. That's beautiful. That's beautiful.
That's great. And Gunny, I made sure she didn't do none of that Packers shit. I said, hey, woman, all right? You get with me, you better learn the Jets. That's the language. It's Jets, jet. See, you think I'm a good dad with kids? I'm already working on the spelling bee. Jets, jet. Spelling bee is in session. Gavel. Okay, so that's what we got going on. So thank you very much to my beautiful fiance who sent that in. And look at that, Cole Young, baby, gifting some Boy Green Coffee Club memberships here on the channel. Let's go. You love it with some Jet action here on the program. A little icky.
Number 44.
Woo! 44, that's me!
Get some cold cuts. Get some cold cuts. Get some cold cuts.
Woo! Give me some!
That's what I'm talking about, baby.
I love it.
So Cole Young, thank you for the 5-pack of Boy Green Coffee Club memberships. I will add this to your raffle ticket total. And for folks who have no idea what the hell that means, I'll explain that in just a minute for what prizes are available for you guys for gifting. And for people that are watching on the show and you guys would like to get in on the action here, by the way, that's 22 raffle tickets for Cole Young so far this month. Raffle tickets on my channel are $3 a pop. So that's all it costs to be in the running for our raffles here on the channel. You guys can gift Boy Green Coffee Club memberships. You guys can send in super chats. There's a lot of different ways that you guys can choose to contribute to the show, and feel free to take full advantage of all of that here on the program. Here are all the items. Let's throw it up here on the big board. It's no Joe Namath jersey, but we try to do what we can over here, for God's sakes. Here it is. Here are all the items on the screen. We're giving away a New York Jets vintage player t-shirt, blast from the past. Think you guys will like that. A New York Jets Highland Mint Super Bowl III flip coin that is flashed in 24 karat gold, and it is a limited edition coin, one of a kind, and that is also there in a special display case. You guys can take that home. A New York Jets logo athletic prime hoodie t-shirt and Kickoff Kitchen cookbook from Super Bowl chef Tim Lopez. 64 game day recipes, entrees, and appetizers included. That was donated by our boy Badshaw. So all of those items will go to a lucky winner on September 1st. If you guys want a chance at that, just do what Cole Young just did. He picked up 5 raffle tickets just there, along with his previous raffle ticket combination. So Cole Young, appreciate you. And here are the 5 new members to the Boy Green Coffee Club, baby, here on the channel. Appreciate it. Here are the 5 new members. Thank you, Cole Young, Chance Nakura, Dylan Bartholomew, BK Soldier, Brooklyn Born. You guys are all now members of the Boy Green Coffee Club. Appreciate it. I see we got a super chat coming in here, Gumby. So let's keep this train rolling here on the program. So appreciate y'all, and thank you guys for all the congratulations on 11 years. I don't know how I convinced this woman with everything going on that she should waste 11 years of her life with me, but I'm going to continue to keep the ruse going until I'm dead. So let's keep it rolling. All right, we got a super chat here. Hennessy Heisman, appreciate you. $5. That is a raffle ticket. I'll add that up in a second with your totals. I need Aaron Rodgers sacked 3 times minimum week 1, run the ball for 200 yards and 3 touchdowns. I will be in the building and drinking Henny on the postgame. Gunny, let me just throw this over to you and say this. There is no better way for AG to start his new era than by beating Aaron Rodgers' 41-year-old candy ass all over MetLife Stadium and delivering it, because what was it, 6 months ago, Aaron Rodgers walked into the building and Aaron Glenn told him to bend over and shove it because you're out of here. And obviously Aaron Rodgers is going to be super motivated. And we talked about this earlier, Gunny. You said that you wanted, if it was up to you and you were running the operation, Justin Fields would have played tonight. He did not. But I'll tell you this, Aaron Rodgers didn't play a lick in the preseason. Not one single snap. So Justin Fields played 2 of the 3 games, parts of the games. He didn't play the full games. But Aaron Rodgers didn't play a lick. So that means we're getting there's no time of the year I would have preferred Aaron Rodgers better than week 1, where his rusty ass is going to be coming up in here, the mobility of a parked car, and this Jets pass rush coming at him. I am feeling all kinds of crazy. So, yeah, what do you think about Hennessy? 3 sack minimum.
Absolutely love it, Hennessy. Like this is the kind of motivation we need to kick off our season with, right? And I think, honestly, with Will McDonald coming out and saying straight up, man, I'm excited to hit Aaron Rodgers because I couldn't hit him when he was on the team. Because you know, he had on the red freaking jersey, couldn't hit him. I can't wait to hit him. I was like, okay, this kid is making it known. Like, my goal is to go ahead and get my hands on Aaron Rodgers. And we know last year, double-digit sack guy, put on some more weight. He's still fast as hell. This is most likely going to be the case because Aaron Rodgers is no longer mobile. He's no longer mobile. I've been watching a lot of Steelers training camp. My brother-in-law, both my brother-in-laws are Steelers fans. My mother-in-law is a Steelers fan.
Disgusting.
So, like, I've watched a lot of Steelers foot, like training camp and whatnot. And Aaron Rodgers showed up late. He didn't show up in any of the voluntary stuff. He showed up late, signed that contract late. He's only been working with the team really for like the last 2.5, 3 months. Yeah. I think it's very feasible. there's a very real chance that the Jets get this win week 1 because Aaron Rodgers, I think, is going to be rusty. I've watched a couple of highlight tapes and he's passing the ball to DK Metcalf like it's behind him, and it's not. They're not even on the same page yet. Like, so this is the perfect time. You're right. This is the perfect time for us to go ahead and potentially sneak a win. I can see 3 sacks because JJ's hungry. He's back. You're going to have Will McDonald on the other side. Quinnen's going to be back. The offensive line of the Steelers, it's okay, right? Like, it's going to be a defensive minded.
Probably.
We believe that.
Yeah.
They don't have the running back stable that we have, so I think that's going to be a benefit for us as well. This game might be better than we realize for Jets fans. It could be a nice start to AG's freaking career as a head coach.
And Hennessy Hessman, by the way, with your previous Super Chat combinations, you now have 4 raffle tickets for our contest. And I'll go through each piece of this. So 3 sacks minimum. Hail to the yeah. Let's go. Again, there'd be nothing more I would like than remember, go back to that 2023 draft and the trading for Aaron Rodgers. Speaking of Aaron Rodgers, and one of the key elements of that trade was the Jets had the 13th overall pick, and they flipped it to the 15th overall pick. And people believe that the Jets lost out on their guy, which reportedly was Broderick Jones, the Georgia offensive tackle. Oh, no, the Jets are idiots. They did the senseless pick swap and lost out. And the Steelers traded up with the New England Patriots and took Broderick Jones. Sniped the Jets. And Broderick Jones has been a traffic cone. He has been a pair of saloon doors, and he is starting for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And the Jets ended up with, oh no, their backup plan, Will McDonald, who already has a double-digit sack season on his ledger. I would love nothing more than for Will McDonald to put that motherfucker in the spin cycle and and get right to Aaron Rodgers' old ass and pile drive him into the turf. So on the pass rush stuff, let's freaking go. On the offense, again, we talk about Aaron Rodgers' motivation, right? He hates the Jets. He wants to give it back to the Jets. What about Justin Fields to the Steelers, man?
That part.
They benched his ass
while he was winning.
Games. While he was winning. 4-2. There should have been 5-1. Dak Prescott had an unbelievable game on Sunday Night Football and beat him, or he would have been 5-1. And the Steelers, their balls must be massive. I'm not normally wasting time in my life, Gunny, thinking about the size of other people's balls. That's not normally something that's on my agenda. But I will tell you, the Steelers' balls must be massive. Why do I say that? And why am I speculating on the size of someone's ball and chain? Well, here's why. Because after the season, the Steelers had the audacity to come to Justin Fields, hit the guy's ass they bench, and said, hey, Justin, hey, baby, I'm so sorry. And I go back to Happy Gilmore. Happy Gilmore 2 just came out this summer. And Adam Sandler's girlfriend at the beginning of the movie, she's like, I'm leaving you, Happy. You're a loser. And she goes downstairs, and he comes over to the intercom. He's like, baby, please don't leave. And she's like, no, I don't want to waste my life with you. He's like, get lost, beat it, lady. And then he walks away. He's like, oh, I'm sorry, baby. I didn't mean it. That's the Steelers to Justin Fields, is that they were like, get lost, loser. We're benching you. Russell Wilson's way better. Then the season ends. They're like, Justin, please come back. Please, 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 please. I'm so sorry. And he said, fuck you, buddy. I'm going to the Jets. And they didn't want Russell Wilson. And now everyone's narrative flips. Steelers fans are like, screw Justin Fields, even though that's the guy your team wanted. That was the number 1 quarterback they wanted, but he didn't want you. So sorry, pal. That's the revenge angle we need to spend more time on that we're not. And I think the reason why we're not, Gunny, is because Justin is a quiet guy.
So quiet.
He's not
really
feeding into the storylines.
Yeah, he's humble. Another is hard to not root for the kid, man. Like the way he got to the league, his story, his origin story, all of it makes you want to root for the kid. And then he's just a very humble guy. He just shows up to go to work, very quiet guy. I'm like, man, this guy doesn't talk shit. Like he doesn't like. How could you not want to talk shit right now when you know this team is coming up next and how excited you are? He's just like, yeah, nah, they're just like any other team. We're going to game plan for them. You know what I'm saying? We're going to go in there. We're going to get the win. Like, you're going to guarantee a win or something, just something. No, it's hard to not root for Justin Fields, but I agree with you, man. You're right. Everybody's talking about the Aaron Rodgers revenge game because Aaron Rodgers has stated he's excited for this game. He's excited that this is the game that he gets to start off with the Steelers. I hope we freaking rock his shit. I really do.
Oh, 1,000%. I just, I'm so ready for it. And man, I am ready to overreact. I'm ready to say the Steelers aren't going to win a game this year and the Jets are going to the Super Bowl. I am ready to and drink the Henny on the post game, baby. Let's freaking go. More memberships being gifted. Michael Palermo's getting in on the action with a 5-pack of Boy Green Coffee Club memberships. Let's ride. Baby, we're after midnight.
Kevin James. I just got 3 things to say. God bless our troops. God bless America. And gentlemen, start your engine!
Kevin Gash Darn James, baby. Those 5 Boy Green Coffee Club memberships, by the way, went to Menth 2-Man, Rob Power, Hennessy Heisman, of course. Why wouldn't he get it on the rebound? Beautiful. James Caffiero and David A. Barge. You guys are all now Boy Green Coffee Club members. And Michael Palermo, you have 5 raffle tickets for our contest, baby. Let's bleep and go. Appreciate you guys. And look at all this. Look at all this. We're on now officially August 23rd after midnight here, Gunny. We have all these Jet fans, over 600 people out here watching this gosh darn show right now, which we appreciate. Again, another reminder, NY Jets Situation Report. Stop what you're doing right now. Look up that YouTube channel and smack that subscribe button for our boy Gunny Gumby here, for God's sakes. First off, for the love of our country, he fought for our abilities to even do these damn Jet shows at after midnight on August 23rd, while technically I'm in the middle of my 11-year anniversary right now, and I'm spending time of this on the Jet show. Without Gunny Gumby and his selflessness for fighting for our country, I wouldn't even have the opportunity to do this right now. So come on now, hit that subscribe button, baby, and support one of the true heroes, baby, here in the United States of America, baby. U.S. bleeping A. That's what I'm talking about. USA. We've got gosh darn Gunny Gumby here. And damn it, we need to figure out. Apparently, Gunny Gumby's a free agent. Green Bean's got stuff cooking on right now. So we need to find a way to get Gunny Gumby in the lineup, baby. That's what we need to do. We need to, my people, your people. Gunny, you're a big deal. You got your own people. We'll work with your people, speak with your agent, see what's going on, and see if we can make it happen, because I think a lot of people, and I've been seeing in the comments, have just been really enjoying your refreshing take and everything that's been going on tonight. So, long overdue to bring us back together, because this chemistry is fire, man.
I feel you, brother. Yeah, we'll talk, brother. We'll talk offline.
Okay, yeah. See, there we go. And I will just say this, just because I want to remind it. The Eagles may have beaten us tonight in the preseason game, because, of course, they fucking did. Why wouldn't they? But you want to know something? I just remember back, we were talking about that 2023 season earlier, and beating the Eagles for the first time ever. Apparently, our regular season record is 1-12, but I don't give a shit. We finally beat them, because I was so annoyed every 4 years hearing that stupid stuff. The Eagles beat the Jets again. Yeah. And I was just like, oh my God, we need to fucking beat this team. And hurts. And everything's set up that we weren't, because Sauce Gardner right before the game's out, DJ Reed right before the game's out, and people went, we bet the fucking Eagles fans so cocky. We're going to fucking run through you guys. They're like, maybe we should bench our starters to give you guys a chance. I'm like, oh, okay, keep talking that shit. I'm like, we're going to beat you. And they're like, sure you are. And the Jets, Tony Adams getting that pick on 3rd and long. Brees Hall punching in the end zone. Oh, so sweet. So Eagles fans, suck on that, baby. I just wanted to remind you of that tonight. Suck on that. For God's sakes, freaking Eagles fans. I just wanted to make sure you guys were reminded of that coming up here on the channel. Again, we're going to be wrapping up here. Again, in case you missed it, the big news coming from the AG presser, and I'll give you guys a couple of quotes here in a second as well, but Tyrod Taylor, Gunny, he looks like he is going to be ready for week 1, which is a sigh of relief after the unfortunate quarterback play I had to watch tonight from Brady Cook. Outside, I'll give Brady Cook one tip of the cap. The end of the first half, he did very well in the 2-minute drill. That was refreshing to see, but the rest of it was pretty underwhelming. And then Adrian Martinez, the turnover palooza. He had a few moments where he was sort of running around back there like, Fran Tarkenton, for God's sakes, but the rest of it was super questionable for Adrian, which, some miracle magic was there at the end. It's not his fault. Zack Kuntz dropped the ball, but boy, I'm just thankful that Tyrod Taylor, that break the glass of Captain Break the Glass, will be available for the Jets week 1, it appears, by all accounts.
I know you brought up the Eagles, and I just wanted to remember this. Weren't they undefeated as well.
They were.
They're like
They
5-0, right? Yeah,
100%.
Yes, I remember this.
And that ended up being, I think they started the season 10-1. So the Jets were like their only loss through the first 11 weeks of the season.
That's
right. And I just kept remembering other shows going, like, what the fuck? How did they lose to the shitty Jets team? Right. So have this blip, right? They're beating teams. They lose to the Jets. And people are like, whoa, maybe they're not as good. And then they go win. And people are like, but what the fuck happened in week 6 against the Jets? I'm like, I don't know. That's football, baby. You never know what's going to happen.
Punched them in the mouth. That's what you punched them in the mouth.
I like to think of it this way. Like, we totally destroyed their season because, like, even though they started like 10-1 or something, the locker room imploded and then they lost in the playoffs. And I was just like, yeah, you want to know where your season ended? In MetLife Stadium.
Back in week 6.
That's
never
it,
forget.
You bastards. Yeah, 100%. So that felt really good to sort of get off my chest in such a manner. So that was terrific. Let me just, there's one more thing I have, and then we'll answer any other final questions that may be out there in the universe here, Gunny. 2 things here. First off, what are your thoughts on, are you a Jeremy Ruckert guy?
No, not anymore. I am not.
Okay. So you were, but
I was.
Based on results, that changed.
Yeah. At the end of the day, like, I was rooting for the kid to succeed. It's awesome to be a Jets fan, to grow up a Jets fan, and you get to play for the Jets. That is the ultimate story. Like, of course, you're going to root for that as a Jets fan, right?
Yeah.
Wanted to go ahead and see the kid succeed, but he's been a non-factor for the last 2 years. I think we've given him enough time. We've given him a lot of grace because he's a Jets fan. His parents are Jets fans. Like, so you wanted it. I really wanted it to work. I really did. But at this point, I think it's time for us to be honest, man. The NFL might just be a little bit too much for the kid. I don't think he makes the 53-man roster either. I think he's one of those guys that's going to be on the outside looking in. It's definitively going to be Mason Taylor. I think Stone Smart actually has a better chance of making this roster than Jeremy Ruckert. So Stone Smart, Mason Taylor. I mean, does Neil Johnson wind up being in the conversation? I know Zack Kuntz is gone.
Oh, no. We established that. See ya.
Dude has got to go. So, or does Andrew Beck fill that fullback tight end hybrid role too? So you carry 2 tight ends and
waivers, maybe. Maybe they are going to comb the shit out of waivers and just say, hey, Jeremy Ruckert sucks, guys. 1,000 players just got cut. There's got to be some guy of these 1,000 players that plays tight end and can catch and block. Yep. And if so, Jeremy, see ya, pal. Because that's it. Of course. Come on. The story, his father, the Jets. How could you not buy into that? But for whatever reason, I have no idea what happened to him. I don't know if Space Jam and Space Jam 3 came out and they came over to his house and stole whatever powers he had at Ohio State. I have got no freaking clue. All I can tell you is he can't block a lick, he can't catch a lick, and he just looks like a deer in headlights every time he's on the football field. So sorry, pal. As much as we are all Jet fans, and maybe we can all be at a bar one day and we can watch a game together, we have to evaluate this as objectively as possible. Yeah. And you've been straight booty cheeks in the NFL. I wish you weren't. I wish you were better. That'd be great for all of us. But 100%. You're not. You're terrible. So I think right now, if the Jets don't add anyone off of waivers, I think Jeremy Ruckert stays, not because I like him, because I've established I don't. It's because who's taking it? Is Zack Kuntz ain't taking his job? He sucks.
Hell no. Zack Kuntz is garbage.
And with the Lions' background, they're going to run a lot of jumbo personnel. So Mason Taylor's making it. Andrew Beck's making it, I think, although Rich Cimini was a little concerned, for lack of a better word, that he was just playing in this meaningless preseason game. He's like, if his roster spot was as secure as he thought, why was he playing? So that's a little red flag for Rich, like, oh, maybe he's not safe, which would be weird because I thought Beck was super safe. He's the only fullback on the roster, so that doesn't make any sense. But you have Beck, you have him, you have who else am I missing here? Mason Taylor, obviously. So
and then Stone Smart.
Yeah, Stone Smart. That was the other one I forgot. So
Neil Johnson.
So they keeping 3 tight ends. So they keeping 4. That's why I think waivers is going to be critically important. But for God's sake, there's got to be someone out there in the universe, I'd imagine, that can do it. Which again would result in Ruckert getting his walking papers here. So, good Lord. Okay, so we're on the same page on Ruckert. Yeah. I thought we were, and there we are. Unbelievable. And for people that are saying Clemens is getting cut, he is. I don't know where you stand on this, Gunny, but Clemens is not getting cut. He's right now in this moment, he is the 3rd best defensive end on the team. Now, that can change. Waivers or some trade or splash move. Jadeveon Clowney getting at it or something. But I just don't. That move hasn't happened yet. So right now, Clemens the third best defensive end on this roster. So I don't think he's anywhere near the bubble, frankly. And he was chilling. He didn't even play in this game. He was chilling out with Quentin Williams and Will McDonald and Dwayne Johnson cracking jokes on the sideline. That is as secure as you can be. So I don't see that happening. So I see a few Clemens comments in here. I just don't think so at all. And even if they add someone, then great. Clemens goes from defensive end 3 to defensive end 4. I still don't think that he's in any level of jeopardy.
He's
so
about
far.
two defensive ends away from being cut.
Right. Hey, if Darren Mucci starts cooking, all of a sudden you trade for 2 defensive ends. I'm like, geez.
Now he's gone.
Maybe he's available, but I don't want to doubt the great Darren Mucci and his cooking skills in the kitchen, but I guess I'll have to wait to see. We'll have to wait and see. All right, Gunny, phenomenal show. This went way longer than I would have thought, but hey, the people were great, so I appreciate all the people. Gunny, give another plug. We have 600 people watching this show right friggin' now, and so give them the plugs for what you do. You're a fellow New York Jets content creator, and again, an absolute hero to the country of the United States of America. So yeah, baby, give it all to us.
Yeah, man. Appreciate you, Boy Green, for having me, dog. As always, man. It's always a blast. So you can catch me on the New York Jets Situation Report. We got the Hangar Hangout every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Central. I drop videos throughout the week in terms of prediction videos, breaking news videos. Man, we just talk Jets all the time. The Hangar Hangout has definitely been fun. We all just get in there and we just chop it up. We talk about the Jets, what they've done, what they're going to be doing, how we're feeling, what we're thinking. We're on the path to reaching 2,000 subscribers. Once we hit 2,000 subscribers, we are going to be giving away an autographed Joe Namath jersey. It's actually in that case right there. It's already here.
Yeah,
I can even show it to you guys.
Oh, sure. Okay. Let's go. We're bringing Gunny full screen here. And this is great because I get to check out his amazing man cave here. Look at all this. Oh, my goodness. Yeah. Look at Gunny Gumby here, baby. Oh, he's pulling it out. Oh, boy. Here we go. Oh, wow. Look at that jersey. Sweet. Oh, look at that. Oh, that's a beautiful autograph. Wow. What an autograph. Holy crap. So that is going to one of your first 2,000 subscribers, basically. Correct, Gunny?
That's correct. So once you enter, you're one of the first 2,000 subscribers. We're going to be doing that giveaway live. So that way there's no funny business. It'll be a live giveaway. Randomly picked for everyone to see live. And then I will be shipping this out to you as a thank you. 2,000 subscribers is the goal. I got the Joe Namath jersey here waiting to give that away to one lucky subscriber. So if you haven't subscribed, jump on the channel real quick, subscribe, and enter yourself in for the giveaway.
Okay, so folks, I'm going to show you, right, that you're like, hey, this Gunny Gumby guy, it seems a little too good to be true. And I'll be honest, handsome, and he's got this wonderful podcast, and he's giving away a Joe Namath jersey. And to be honest, it sounds completely fugazi. It sounds way too good to be true. But I will show you this. I'll show you this. I am a beneficiary of Gunny Gumby giveaways. Right here is the John Riggins autograph mini helmet. I won this in a Gunny Gumby raffle giveaway, just the way that he's talking about it now, for a contest for subscribers. And there it is in all its beauty, baby. Officially licensed, sent it right to me. No funny business, no nothing. And there you go. It's with my wonderful collection over here that I get to show off to people when they come in. So, guys, it's the best. He is awesome. Yes, all these people coming in here. Sharon just subscribed. Let's go. Keep the train rolling.
Sharon, I appreciate you.
Toot. Oh, this is amazing. So, Gunny, I'm glad that I reached out again. Again, your people, my people. We'll get into the negotiations room. The season's only a couple weeks away. We'll see if we can crack the code, make something happen here. And if we can, that'd be amazing. Either way, though, I appreciate you being very generous with your time tonight. This was a lot of fun, man. And the preseason's over. Up next is regular season, baby.
Yes, sir. Now it's real. Now they count.
And now they count, folks. So hopefully they got all the penalties out of the way. Maybe that's a good thing, right? We just had that up. Let me throw that back up because I'm sure you guys want to see it. Okay, I deleted it. Good. I'm glad I did. Okay, the 27 penalties for 300-something yards, they got them all out of their system. That's what happened.
It's done. That's what it was.
They got them all out of the system. So, like, when the regular season comes, hands were washed. They're clean. I'm sure that's exactly what happened. Well, everybody, thank you so much for joining us. I'll be back in a couple of hours because I've got Boy Green Daily coming in a couple of hours here. So we'll be doing some more winners, losers, and everything else from this game and get you ready for cut day. So, Gunny, thanks again, brother, and thanks to all the fans. We will see you next time. Take friggin' care. Let's go.